Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Ape Escape Part 9. This time around, we're going to Spectre's factory, finally. We're going to finally take out, well, Spectre's factory. What do you think we're going here to do? And so we're given a Twisted Metal style tank right there that we can use to compete in Twisted Metal and destroy people and destroy cars and stuff like that. But no, we're not going to use it for that. We're just going to use it to destroy these enemies here. We're finally going to get revenge on these guys for giving us a hard time by rolling into us all the time. These, what do you call these enemies? I don't know. And we can also use the tank to blow down those walls. We don't have that special gadget we get for beating the game yet. So we're just going to go here and just going to destroy all the enemies, destroy all the walls and stuff with this tank. Because remember, guys, we're in a tank. There's not much you can really do against a tank. You have different types of weapons. Yeah, but we have like a large blast we could use on the enemies. We even have like a little rapid fire machine gun here too. Look at that, we're completely destroying that UFO right there just by shooting rapid fire at it. I think we've damaged a couple. Look, we've just our standard machine gun is like really like taking this thing down. We're far away from it, but it still managed to get us a couple times. The tank is actually kind of weak. You think tough like a tank, you think it'd be tough, but no, it's actually not that tough. It's actually kind of weak. You just hit it once or twice and it's smoking right now. We could still use it to destroy these enemies and get some revenge. I don't think there's any way you could really, replenish the tank's armor or anything like that. It's just a tank. It's like a disposable, one-time use only tank. We could try to sneak up to this monkey right here and maybe get him before he activates his thing, but no, he spotted us. He's a white monkey. You can see there's the ones that wears the white pants. Those ones are like very hyperactive. They're very hyperactive. It's really easy to destroy. It's really easier than to see you. They're probably going to get you before you get them, if that makes any sense. This game is called Saru Get You in Japan, so I guess it kind of makes sense in that way. That would be called that. So we finally got him out of that robot suit. He's going to use his laser gun. But having a laser gun isn't already enough, so you have to have a big giant mech robot. And so this is pretty much the main defense of Spectre's factory. We're going to get into Spectre's factory, and the epic music is going to end, and now we're in just Spectre's factory. What else would you expect from Spectre's factory? Whereas it's playing generic, slightly futuristic sounding music. Well, this world we're in, even though it's present day, so it's the present day, it's actually officially called Futurama. But in the PSP re-release of this game from 2005, they changed it to present day, probably to make it more correct or more accurate to the fact that it's, the present day, so it kind of makes more sense. Either that, or maybe a certain show on Fox had something to do with that. I don't know. So we're really going to make real good use of the RC car in this part. We're going to have to take the RC car, we're going to be driving it through here, we're going to pick up all those gold triangles that we come across, and have it hit buttons and switches, things like that to activate things so we can get around. We're just walking in a big circle here, but it's a good circle, so we're going to end up at the end where that cage is, where that green pants monkey with rocket launchers is. We have to capture that monkey, and then I think it will allow us to advance to the next part of the level, because one of those doors that are locked, we have to capture a certain number of monkeys, and it allows you to progress. Spectre is really elaborate at building his factory. I wonder what the point of all this stuff is. Why he built such large sections that can be used with the RC car, and such large sections to do stuff. And you can see there's a Spectre coin out there. You know that obviously means Spectre coins are more important than capturing monkeys sometimes. Can't let those Spectre coins go. We just got new life there too. The game's still being very generous with new life. This is probably the biggest fight a monkey's actually going to put up with us in this game. Those green monkeys really do put up a good fight. Probably are the worst kinds of monkeys in the game. If you could be any kind of monkey in the entire Ape Escape franchise, you'd be a green pants monkey. Because for that very reason, because they're really good at they're really, they have the rocket launchers, trying to make them a really powerful threat. So now we're allowed to get into the other part of the level right there too, as you can see. We're probably going to have to activate something else, activates one thing. We're running back and forth for this all. That's the way this level is structured. It's structured around running from one end, doing something, then running back to another end and doing something. And so that's some more Super Mario 64 style platforming. Here this game's really showing its influence that Super Mario 64 had on this game, which I actually think this game is better than Super Mario 64. Also because it has better music, the story is more unique. It doesn't star just some plumber we've seen a lot before. No, it's a new unique character, you get new unique gadgets, new unique levels, new unique everything. I wish Nintendo would do stuff. Nintendo still makes Mario games this very day, and each Mario game still has the exact same premise, where the princess gets captured and Mario has to rescue them. Mario is a little bit too cliche for people these days. I'm surprised they even still make Mario games, or Mario is even still relevant today. He's one of the most popular video game characters ever, and very few people actually know that he comes from Nintendo, apparently, to explain why people go to GameStop all the time and say, hey, you got any Mario games on PS2, or you got any Mario games on Xbox? Then people like throw a fit when they find out there is no Mario game on some PlayStation or Xbox systems. It's actually a very common thing from what I've read, where people try to buy Mario games on non-Nintendo systems. And then some people also told stories too, of retail stores. They'd be like, oh, then the parent comes back and says, why'd you sell this game to my kid? I wonder if people ever go to games. I bet this does happen sometimes. If people go to GameStop stores and they ask for tragically dated video games. I actually did hear a story of that one time when some guy actually went to a GameStop asking if they had any Sega Dreamcast games. And they looked at the guy like he had 3 heads. And some people might say, why don't they sell Sega Dreamcast games at GameStop? For the same reason they don't sell computers with Windows 95 on them at Best Buy, and also the same reason why they don't sell PS2 or Serial Mice at Best Buy either. So we crossed that bridge, and now we're getting to more of the bulkier parts of the level. We're going to be going against they're not really bosses, but they are really tough enemies, big robot mechs that have monkeys in them. See a monkey? These monkeys are really smart, they can drive mechs. Apparently in Kazakhstan, it used to be legal for monkeys to get pilots' licenses until a time in 2002, where one of them they flew a plane and killed a bunch of people, saying that the monkeys aren't allowed to get licenses anymore. I bet monkeys actually are a lot smarter than a lot of the people in real life. Why didn't they send monkeys into space? Monkeys made it to space before people did. That must mean monkeys are pretty advanced if they got into space before we did. Monkeys actually are some of the most advanced non-human species in the world. If there was supposed to be a second dominant species in the world, it would be the monkey, of course. Which is probably why Spectre is, jealous of humans for that. Which is why he's starting this whole war against humankind. Which wars against humankind could actually very well be a premise for a future Ape Escape game. That is, if they still made Ape Escape games, which they don't seem to make Ape Escape games really anymore. There aren't really any new Ape Escape games anymore on the newest systems, except for spin-off games. There were quite a lot of spin-off Ape Escape games. Even then, there aren't really an awful lot of those either. So it's like just the pre-main games in the Ape Escape series. It's really sad that Mario gets so many games, and yet Ape Escape, not so much. Then again, Sony does seem to neglect some of their old franchise. They do the same thing with Twisted Metal as well, too. Why there haven't been very many Twisted Metal games lately. They even ditched Spyro at one point, which led to Spyro getting bought out by Activision, which later got bought out by Microsoft. So Spyro's technically owned by Microsoft now. Not that I really care, because like I said before, the only Microsoft system I ever owned was the original Xbox. It's the only Microsoft product I ever bought. And I bought it secondhand too, meaning the Microsoft company didn't actually get any money off of me for that. There's a game on the Xbox that's somewhat similar to Ape Escape. It's called Blinx the Time Sweeper. It's like Ape Escape, but it's nowhere near as good. So you play as this cat called Blinx, and you have to run through levels, and you have to shoot stuff at these enemies and kill all these enemies. You have to manipulate time and things like that to get through the levels. It's a pretty cool, unique game. I had a sequel that wasn't that good, but the first game in the series was pretty decent. It's pretty much Microsoft's attempt at making a mascot, which didn't really work so well. I mean, Sony has Crash Bandicoot, Ubisoft has Rayman, Nintendo has Mario, Sega has Sonic, and Namco has Pac-Man, so it makes sense they would try to make their own mascot. Microsoft really did need a mascot. A lot of people consider Microsoft's unofficial mascot to be Master Chief from Halo, but Microsoft doesn't consider him to be their mascot, so you never get to see his face. We've seen the Mandalorian's face more than we've seen Master Chief's face. I think that was a dumb idea. They had the Mandalorian eventually show his face. They should have just left him, if he wears a helmet all the time, and we never actually see what he looks like. That actually would have been a much better plan, I think, or a much better idea, I think, if they just never see his face. That's why Justice Knight never reveals his face. For that very reason. I never show my face in any of my videos either. Why do you think that is? It's good to have a sense of, be anonymous and be so people don't really know the truth about you. Sometimes it's better to hide the truth. And so we got through Spectre's factory, and that's pretty much the end of the level. This is Ray Phoenix signing out.